Hot takes, lived experiences. Trulea Entertainment.
I'm a soccer coach. Well, I coach lots of things, but soccer coach is my passion. I've been doing it for 25 plus years. And that's a big thing for me. I coach a lot of the older girls. I started coaching the younger ones, getting up into the older age groups. And there's such a big change from the youngins to the older girls. One of the things is that you're teaching a lot of foundational stuff in the earlier years. You know, how to throw in the ball. What are the rules of soccer? How do you pass the ball? How do you even kick the ball? And then later on, as they get older and they get more competitive and they get more skilled, you start teaching a lot more tactical and technical things. Why do you pass the ball here? Why do you not pass the ball there? All those types of things. But to kind of build off of what we were talking about earlier, it's all about the want to learn. Can you be coachable? Mm-hmm. And coachable is a big word for me, meaning, can I give you some criticism, which sometimes is hard to take, but take that criticism without a, oh my God, he's talking shit about me, and say, yeah, okay, I see where I did. Now I'm gonna implement what he said. And obviously there's different ways to deliver that coachable moment, especially if it's between girls and boys. That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But being coachable or understanding, being able to take criticism is definitely the key to getting better at everything in life. I just like to use soccer because sport is such a powerful tool for a life lesson. And I talk about this sometimes with my girls, and I say, you know, it's not necessarily about being a great soccer player, because a lot of you, once this is done, you're never going to touch another soccer ball unless you're playing with your kids. Yeah. You know, only a handful are going to go to college. And then an even less handful from there is going to go on to play in some kind of pro level or semi-pro level. So if you can learn how to be a good contributing member to society through sport, I have done my job. And there's been so many times where I've had some of my former athletes, because I used to coach high school soccer. I don't coach high school anymore. That was a tough part. But I coach club travel soccer now. So I coach all high school age kids. Right now, my team is a U19. The vast majority of them are graduating seniors this year. And that's what I love, is to have some of those girls 2, 3, 4, 5 years out of soccer run into me or message me on Facebook or TikTok, or just come see me in person and say, you know what, coach, you were right. Or I caught myself the other day saying the same thing that you used to say to me on a soccer field, but I did it at work. Oh. I was like, well, that's because all those things, all those skills, those life skills are transferable. I'm just using soccer as the vehicle. And to me, that's like one of the best feelings, to know that you've got kids like that, you know. So it's been, I know we're going all over the place, but it's very rewarding, and it's about being coachable. And you kind of translate that into this podcast. Can I be coachable? Can I take criticism? Because I know you want to get better. I do. Just some of the things that you were asking, we were trying to set up, and boy, if we would have recorded this whole thing, we had a bit of a debacle earlier. The camera died. This was popping. That wasn't connected. But those are great failures that can really teach you, so that later on you can say, like, you know, I don't want that to happen again. So I'm gonna get my shit together. I'm gonna do all these things. But those are fantastic.
So coaching, what you were talking about, did you play soccer?
Yes.
I would assume so.
Yeah, so I played soccer since I was probably 4 years old. Loved it. I played every single sport when I was younger because I just love sports. Mm-hmm. But I was really good at soccer, if I'm being, you know, humble. So soccer was kind of like it. I just stayed to soccer, traveled all over the creation, everywhere. Played until I was in my mid-20s, and just injuries and things like that is just, I had an actual job, but then I had a couple knee issues, so then I couldn't go to work, and it was just a whole thing. So my son at the time was getting into soccer, so I decided to hang up my cleats, pick up the whistle, and start coaching. So that was, and like I said, in my early 20s. I'm almost 50 now, believe it, and I'm 48 years old. So I've been coaching for quite some time, about 25 plus years. And it was the best decision I could have made. Yeah. When I first started, it was a lot with like recreation stuff. And what I learned very quickly was that being a good soccer player does not translate into being a good coach, because you're always the one taking the coaching. You're the one taking the criticism. The coach is setting up the drills. The coach can analyze what's going on and try to make you better. But I didn't know how to do that, especially with a bunch of 4 and 5 year old kids, you know? So that was a bit of a learning curve. I started to get a little coaching education, trying to figure that stuff out. Eventually, my son went into competitive a little bit. My daughter started to come along. I started to coach her. I had an opportunity to go coach at Homeville High School, which I loved. Because when my daughter was coming up, it was co-ed. So I was coaching boys and girls. And they were so young. It was just like, you know, they didn't know no better.
What age group is the co-ed for that? What age is it still co-ed?
Well, when they first started, they were 4 and 5 years old. So that was all co-ed, boys and girls. And as it kind of got a little bit older and they started to, you know, have those differences or getting into the competitive level, that's kind of when things started to split up a little bit. And it could have been maybe just because of the numbers, like in St. Charles Parish, maybe they just didn't have the numbers to have a boys and a girls team. Because I know that other places, there's strictly girls and the boys, and they play separately. But I think at that point, it was just because of the numbers. So, but when that started to happen, when she started to get into a little bit more competitive, then she didn't like playing with the boys anymore. Because at that age, around 9 or 10 years old, it's a bit of a difference. The speed of the boys, the aggressiveness of the boys, she was getting very discouraged. So we had left St. Charles Parish, and we went to Louisiana Fire. She was in the competitive league, so they had hired competitive coaches. So I kind of took a step back for a second. I'm like, I'm going to let them do their thing. Well, this is the first time in probably, 9 or 10 years that I had ever not coached. And it was it was kind of tough being on the sideline. I was like, kind of biting my finger if the coach was kind of doing something and I would do a little different. Mm-hmm. But I was like, nope, I'm just going to be a soccer dad. I got to let this go on. And she had a good experience. The next year is when I had the opportunity to go coach again, but I was coaching girls at Homeville High School. And it was the first time that I really coached only girls. And it was also the first time that I had coached that age group. Mm-hmm. Well, I was the assistant coach there at the time. So I was there with a really good friend of mine, Alex Romero, who's one of my mentors, great guy. I suggest everybody find someone that you care about that does something well that you want to get better at, and let them mentor you. Ask them to mentor you. Be humble. That was a great thing. We've got such a great relationship that kind of goes back and forth, mentoring each other. It's a great thing. But that's, again, a whole other podcast. So got into high school, learned a lot really quickly about the difference in boys and girls and the difference in 9-year-olds and 18-year-olds. A bit of a learning curve really quickly. So that's been a great experience. Learning how to manage emotions and, all the things that go on in high school that kids got to deal with. And it was interesting. Did that for about 7 years or so, coaching high school, got back into coaching club soccer. My daughter had left the Louisiana Fire, had a new club start up, New Orleans DFC, which is who I'm with now. Okay. And one of our favorite coaches, he's absolutely the best coach that I've been around. My daughter loves him. She coached him. He coached her for a couple of years. And when I found out that he was starting New Orleans DFC, we decided to follow him because it's like, you're the greatest coach ever. I want you to coach my daughter again. Sure. Funny story, too, is at this time, I still wasn't coaching club. So a couple of years have gone by. I'm only coaching high school. I was on the beach. We was on during vacation. He calls me up. And it was, like I said, it was a new club, New Orleans DFC. And he says, hey, we're looking for some coaches. Do you want to come and coach? I was like, man, I would love to, but I don't want to coach and not be able to coach my own daughter. I want to be able to watch her play and everything else. He was like, no. I'm asking you if you want to coach your daughter with me. I was like, so you mean to tell me I can be your assistant coach with you, my soccer coaching mentor, and watch and be on my daughter's team? He's like, yes. I was like, sign me up.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
That's absolutely no brainer. So he took me under his wing, and we've been coaching together for, that was probably 5 or 6 years. No, actually it was 2020. So almost 5 years. And this year he decided to go back down to the younger age groups, help develop the next group of girls in that group. So now I'm kind of back by myself again, just me coaching the girls. But I've in turn done the same thing. I've got this girl, Kim, who is a fantastic human being. I'm going to back up a little bit. When I was first coaching at Hornbill, the very first year, Kim had just graduated the year before. But I kept hearing her name about this, that, and the other. Well, we were doing this summer training, and we wanted to get the girls into CrossFit, kind of help develop them, do some injury prevention type stuff. Well, Kim, because she was just finished graduated, she decided to come with us as well. Great human being, phenomenal athlete, like all the things. Fast forward a few years, Alex tells me one day, he was like, hey, I'm thinking about bringing on another female coach. I'm trying to get Kim to come and coach with us. So we set up a little meeting. We had dinner, and we kind of talked to her a little bit. And at the time, she couldn't do it because she was still schooling. She was about to leave Southeastern and go to Florida. Well, when she finished Florida, we got in touch with her again and basically saying, you're going to come and coach with us. So she did. And that was my opportunity to kind of grab her under the wing and try to mentor her, because she's such a great soccer player, has a great mind, a great attitude. The girls love her. And we did a year or two at Hornbill. Then I wound up leaving, so she left as well. And then called her right back up. I said, look, I'm asking you, but I'm not really asking you. You're going to come with me to DFC. Well, I got, with work and all that. I said, I told you I'm not asking you. I'll take you in whatever capacity you can. If you can only be here once a week, once every other week, you're committing. She's like, all right, well, let me get back to you. Of course, later on, she, took it up. So all that to say, now it's me and her. We're the ones coaching. We're a great team. So I'm kind of like giving back a little bit to her because she's such a great person. We wound up winning the state championship again for the third year in a row. We're going to Plano, Texas next week for regionals.
Come on.
Yep. And hopefully we'll get another shot at nationals. So 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when we won state, we went to regionals in South Carolina and we won regionals. We went from regionals to nationals in Wichita, Kansas. We were the third Louisiana soccer team in the history of Louisiana soccer to ever win regionals and go to nationals, the President's Cup national tournament. Through that tournament, we were the first Louisiana soccer team in the history of Louisiana soccer to ever break bracket and make it to the semifinals at President's Cup nationals.
So show bumps.
Yeah, it was a huge accomplishment for us. Last year, I want to give props to Slidell. Slidell did a similar thing to us. They won regionals. They went to nationals. They actually made it to the finals. They won their semifinal game, made it to the finals. So the coach over there, Coach Ryan, is a friend of mine. He actually coached one of my D licenses and all that stuff. So he's a great guy. But just to kind of give them a little props. They actually outdid us and made it to the finals last year.
Yeah.
So now my goal, especially considering that this is kind of our swan song, all of our girls are seniors this year and they're going to be moving on to college and things like that. This is our last chance at it. So we're going to regionals. I'm hoping to win. We're going to go back to nationals and want to bring back that national title, be the first team in Louisiana to bring back a national title. So,
and that's next weekend?
Next weekend is regionals, yeah. And nationals will be in July. So, and you have to win regionals in order to go on.
A little prep time then. How many weeks is that in between regionals and
It's about a month in between regionals and nationals, maybe 3 weeks or so. But
do you know who you would be paired up with getting out there? Or is it just like look at the draw when you get there?
Well, for regionals, we have our schedule. The schedule just came out Friday, so we know who we're playing. It's interesting that one of the teams is from Oklahoma. The last time we were at regionals in South Carolina, we played against them, beat them in the bracket. we wound up seeing them again in the finals, and we beat them 1-0 in the finals to win regionals. So we've got a little history with them. I think psychologically we may have a little bit of advantage, but I'm not going to let that play into any of us. I'm not going to, tell the girls, oh yeah, remember we beat this team twice already, because that's basically setting yourself up to fail.
Is it the same the girls that were on the team that beat them before? So it's the same girls?
Most of them, yeah. We have a couple of new faces, but it's mostly the same team. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that. So
I do think I can see that being a competitive edge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of walk out there with our chest sticking out a little bit with our DFC emblem.
That's right.
It's like, hey, just want y'all to remember we've beat y'all twice already, But
just make sure.
Yeah, but still, not take them for granted, because they could have new players and, gotten better. We've all gotten better, I'm sure. So, but we'll be ready. We're definitely ready to go. So
where is regional this time? Remind me where that one's at. Yeah,
this one's going to be in Plano, Texas. They will move it around every once in a while.
Just north of Dallas, right?
Yep. Okay. Yep, right around the Dallas area.
And then after that, it's nationals.
Nationals will be in Tampa this year. Yep. A couple years ago, it was in Wichita, Kansas. You know what's fun to do in Wichita? Pack up and get out. That's about it.
Is there? I've never been. Is there a lot of?
You don't have to go. No, there's not. You can just.
Not missing anything?
No, you're not missing anything. I'm sure I may get a little bit of hate if anyone is going to be listening from Kansas, but I'm sorry. So there wasn't nothing in Wichita for us.
Did y'all drive up there, or did y'all fly?
No, we fly. I'm not much of a driver. I don't like to drive. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get here for you, which I don't mind. 2 hours is about my limit.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive if it's any past that. So
what do you do for the beach?
I drive to the beach, but a lot of times I convince my wife to drive too. So
okay, there you go.
And if I'm going to the beach, it's easier for me to drive there, because just pop in a podcast with my headphones and I'm good. But I just hate driving. I don't like to drive. So
I love it.
You love to drive?
I do love to drive.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. But so I'm from Centerville, Mississippi originally.
Oh, no kidding.
And met my wife after college, and I mean, I went to ITI for drafting and design, and from Centerville to Baton Rouge one way was like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So I did it for like 2 straight years and had perfect attendance.
Oh, so you were driving, you were back and forth.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. See, no.
Yeah.
I pass. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If it's like a one-off, like just driving here, not a big deal. But doing it every day, I pass. It's not me.
Back to soccer. Is your mentor still developing? Is he still coaching?
Yeah, he's still coaching. So his name is Edgar. Well, I have 2. So Alex was my original one. He still is.
Okay.
He's my buddy. He's doing baseball now. His son is a super stud, one of the top high school baseball players in the state of Louisiana.
Come on.
Yep, Cory Lea, an absolute stud. Can throw the ball over 90 miles an hour. He hits bombs. Dude is just a stud.
Is he playing at Hahnville?
Yeah, he plays at Hahnville.
Okay.
Yep. Cory Lea. He's a sophomore. I think he's going to be a junior maybe this year coming.
He's probably already being recruited then.
Yeah, there's a lot of colleges that have talked to him. So that's another thing that Alex and I talk about a lot, is because I've gone through the recruiting process with my daughter with soccer and everything. So the recruiting process itself is very similar, going to camps and getting to know coaches and emailing and doing the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. So Alex and I still talk a lot about that with him. So that's kind of an exciting process. But to answer your question, my other mentor, Edgar, or Eddie, as we say, he's still coaching, but he's just coaching the younger age group. So he's so good at developing talent that what he's doing is he's kind of like developing these kids when they're in their early teens, getting them to know the game, the tactics and all that. And then as they get older, they kind of hand them off to another coach, and then they kind of fine tune a lot of that stuff. So yeah, matter of fact, last week I had him come out to train my girls because I was having an issue with some stuff where it's like, look, we're kind of struggling with this, and if maybe you can come out and help. So he ran a session kind of going over a lot of that stuff to help them. And just through all that talk, we've identified a couple other issues, and we have 2 more practices, Monday and Tuesday, or trainings rather. I hate the word practice. Yeah. We train Monday and Tuesday, and then we're actually leaving Thursday to go to Plano. Our first game is on Friday. So he's actually going to come out Monday and Tuesday just to kind of hey, look over and help us out if I'm missing something. Like we're going through a lot of situational stuff, game management, set pieces, like a lot of the fine tuning. Because, the hay is in the barn. Like, they're not going to just all of a sudden get better. Yeah. They've done all the training. But we've got to talk about all those little fine-tuning things. Like, what are we going to do if we're 2 up with 15 minutes to go? Mm-hmm. What are we going to do if we're 1 down with 5 minutes to go? How are you going to react to those situations? Mm-hmm. So, kind of the fun stuff, a lot of strategy. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Does he surprise you sometimes? It pulls out like a new trick that you weren't aware of?
Not necessarily. He's been my mentor for so long, and we've coached side by side for so long that we kind of have the same brain. And what we'll do a lot of times if we're on Instagram and we see all these little things, I'll share it with him, see what he thinks, and he'll kind of do the same. So it's not like it's, kind of surprises me. It's more of a matter of just like a different way of doing it, a different thought process. Because while we have the same brain, his brain may function one little way, and then it comes out to the girls that way, and then it comes out of my brain a little different way. So it's good to have some extra set of eyes. So we'll talk about like building out of the back, when there's a goal kick, and how do you get the ball from the defensive third into the attacking third and like actually have an opportunity to score. That's kind of one of our little struggles a little. So he's so good at relaying that information situationally so that the girls understand putting it in those positions, and then also putting them in tough positions where they have to make a decision, that it's just easier to have that extra perspective. So then he'll say things, and then I'll say things, and that's kind of what's funny is that some girls may perceive what he says one way and me another way. Mm-hmm. So having that extra set of eyes and thoughts can really help the girls to be like, have that aha moment. So, and then of course, Coach Kim, with her being a female, the girls look at her a little different. So we always joke about this. I can say something one way, and the girls are kind of like, okay, whatever. And then Kim can come right behind me and say word for word everything that I just said, and the girls will be glued to her, looking in the depths of her soul, like, we got you, coach. So it's great to have that where I can come up and say all these little things, and then I'll be like, all right, Coach Kim, what you got? And then she'll get up there, and she was like, let me tell you something before I put my foot in your behind. And they're all just like, and they just stare. So it's fun to have Coach Edgar and I, and then Coach Kim to come right behind and talk to the girls. So we're just such a great team. It's been
like a good balance.
Good. Oh, absolutely a good balance.
Like a three-headed monster.
Yeah.
Good balance, right?
And then we joke too sometimes whenever it's just Coach Kim and I. We do like a bad cop, good cop, not on purpose, but sometimes she gets
plays out like that.
Yeah, she gets kind of pissed off as to what's going on because maybe some of the girls just aren't listening or whatever the case may be. They'll get off the field. She'll kind of push me to the side, just like, I got this, and I step back, and then she'll lay into their ass and say, this and that and the other.
Yeah,
and then it really sets them straight. And then I kind of come in and it's like, okay, this is the game plan. Here we go. So it's like good cop, bad cop, to where it's, we really complement each other. So I'm so grateful to have her by my side, for sure.
How long have y'all two been coaching together?
So we did a couple years at Hawnville and then a couple years at DFC. So about 4 years.
Okay.
So
good time to have a good relationship, kind of know when obviously to do bad cop, good cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun. So really looking forward to regionals, see what happens there, see if we can make history again. But like I said, it's kind of our swan song. So I'm going to, I don't want to say retire after this, but I am going to hang up the whistle for a little while. I say whistle kind of like loosely because I don't use a whistle, but, just being a coach. My daughter is, I'm super proud of her. She got a scholarship. She's going to play at Belhaven in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to kind of being a soccer dad and following her. So I'm not going to coach next year. I just want to travel a little bit, go with her on her journey, and then, eventually, get back into it because I don't think I can stay away forever. But I'm really excited about that next chapter. So we'll see how it goes.
What conference is Belhaven in? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't even know either.
Off the top of the head.
I don't know.
I think my mom and dad actually went there. No, my mom went there.
Okay.
Yeah, for teaching.
I was impressed. We had went for an official visit a while back, and I didn't really know what to expect because we've played a bunch of soccer tournaments in Jackson before.
Yeah.
And it's not a place that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
It's just, I just, not a great place. There's a lot of restaurants that are closed down. It's kind of desolate in certain places. And I was like, I don't know if this is a great fit. Well, we go up there, and this place is beautiful. It's really old. It's got some old buildings. It's got brand new buildings. It is absolutely beautiful over there. I was so impressed. The coaching staff was amazing. I had kind of built a relationship with them a little bit through coaching, inviting them to different games. So that way, they can see our girls in case anybody wanted to, if they were interested in anyone. So I've talked to them kind of loosely here and there or over email and stuff like that. So it's good to kind of go and meet with them in much more personal setting. Ashlyn got to go and, see all the stuff with soccer. They had a game that evening, which we wound up not being able to stay for, but they had invited us to the game. We couldn't go to the game, but they were going to have a team dinner. So they invited us to the team dinner. And it was just such a great family atmosphere that's kind of the reason that I fell in love with, is because I try to do the same thing with our girls. So Ashlyn's kind of used to that setting, and she loved it. A lot of the girls that she had never met before, they were super welcoming. They were like, hey, you come sit by us. And it was almost like they were all little besties to start off with. So when we left there, she said, this is where I want to be.
Had a lot better feeling then.
Yeah, she's like, this is where I want to be. I said, okay, good. Because we've had conversations about that. We've gone to plenty of ID camps. We've been all the way to Colorado, for coaches that were interested in her. And it just wasn't a good fit. Because I would tell her, look, all these things have to come into play. Number one, they've got to have your major. Number two, you literally have to be honest with yourself and say, do I really want to go here? Do I see myself here in the next few years? And if any of those answers are no, then I'm not, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yep.
So it was good for her to say, nope, without question, this is it. I said, okay, well, this is where you're going to be going. So the only thing that's kind of tough is it's a private Catholic college.
Yeah.
And they don't give like full scholarships. So they give you like awards, and they kind of like try to, do what they can to quote unquote give you a scholarship.
Yeah.
But it's still very expensive. So coming out of pocket, but
private. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So you have a podcast.
I do.
And it is HeyEROCK.
Yep. It's technically HeyEROCK in the Couillon classroom.
Couillon.
But I just kind of go by the HeyEROCK podcast.
Where did Erock come from?
That's a good question. So back in high school, obviously my name is Eric.
Right.
And I had some friends of mine that just would call me E-Rock. Like, I don't know how that started, but I had another friend named Jared. They called him J-Rock. So obviously you can see why it's E-Rock and J-Rock. And it just kind of stuck. So when I was getting on TikTok a few years back, well, actually, damn, it's been a long time. I started in 2020, so it's been 5 years. But I decided to just go with the name HeyEROCK, like, it's because everybody always like when they're trying to get your attention, like, hey, Erock. And I'd be like, hey, what's up? And that just kind of in my brain, I was like, oh, that's easy.
It clicks.
Yeah, it just clicks. So that's how I ended up with HeyEROCK. And then the Couillon Classroom thing, that just kind of happened accidentally, I should say.
Yeah.
So when I started TikTok, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And all I knew is that I was watching all these things, and it was kind of funny. And I was like, I could probably do some of this stuff. So I tried imitating some of the things that they were doing, and started getting a bunch of views right off the bat, which at the time I didn't understand what that meant. So I had done a video, this little gymnastic-y kind of video with my wife, where we did this like, I'm holding her up and we're balancing, and it was kind of cool, but it was no big deal.
Yeah.
I posted it. And then my daughter's like, Dad, this video has like 100 likes. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't know what that means. Inside making dinner, she comes back in. She was like, Dad, it's got like 200 likes. Like, so I go pull it up. The thing's got like 5,000 views. But I don't have anything to compare it to because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you think this is just normal.
Yeah, I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
A little later on, she was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. You do one video and you've got all these likes. I'll pull it up. it's like at 10,000 likes, 10,000 views. And then look at it later on, and it's like 50,000,
So
and
is
then
this
70,000, and then 80,000.
Is this like, what's the time frame here?
This is in the first day.
Wow.
Yeah, the first video I ever did got 80,000 views, which it got to 80,000 probably in the next few days.
Yeah.
But it had blown up. But I didn't have any context, so I wasn't excited. I didn't know. All I know is I just wanted to do another video because according to Ashlyn, this is ridiculous and it shouldn't happen. But I was like, okay, cool.
Perfect. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. So we did, and obviously, I didn't have that kind of success every time. It just doesn't really happen that way. Well, eventually I started, because we're in South Louisiana, we had some hurricanes coming.
Yep.
So I started doing some hurricane stuff, and it was really resonating with people. And I'm a kind of comedian. I don't mind. I'll go ahead and throw some funny stuff out there just because it's funny and I'm telling people about this. Well, one day somebody says, "Hey, what does that word mean?" I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I go back to the video and I start looking.
Using words that
I
you're
said,
just used to.
Yeah, I said couillon in the video. And I was like, oh, I did say that. So I did a video on the word couillon. So then I started just kind of throwing that in there every once in a while. And then I had people saying like, yep, I'm a couillon, born and raised. I'm a couillon, know all about it. And I was like, this is just weird. I didn't understand at the time that people were identifying as couillons. Because, me too. I've been called couillon all the time. And for those that don't know that are listening, couillon is Cajun French. It basically means like a fool or a crazy person, like as if we use it as a term of endearment. So like if my daughter's walking in the house, bumps her leg on a table, I'll just say, hey, watch what you're doing, couillon. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the quote unquote derogatory term that some people would like to say. So don't get your Cajun French translations from Google. That's what I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I started doing some videos where people would ask me certain things, and I would just right off the bat call them a couillon. Like I would say, hey, couillon, kind of going off of my HeyEROCK type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say, hey, couillon, guess what? And I'd just, go on a little tangent. And then from then, and that was accidental. I wasn't doing it for any other reason other than I was calling you a couillon when you asked me a question.
Yeah.
And that's when people really started identifying it. I was like, well, maybe I got something here. So I kind of started a Hey Couillon brand, and it just kind of blew up from there.
Right there?
Yeah, this is a hat, Hey Couillon. So I've got some hats and shirts and stuff. I don't really push all that merch stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's a lot of work.
I bet.
And I'm not really doing it for the money. I know that sounds kind of silly, because obviously everybody wants a little extra money, but so I don't really push any of that stuff. I don't really.
It.
Yeah, I just love doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like that's the best form too.
Yeah.
2 ways of spelling couillon.
Oh yes, there's multiple. There's more than 2.
Oh, I've only ever known of 2.
Okay, so DJ Rhett, I'm sure that some people probably know. We're buddies, and we talk about this a lot. Matter of fact, he calls me Coulion sometimes because I say Coulllion.
Yep.
Couillon. And it's more of the proper French spelling. There are more slang versions, which is Couyon. So it's like kind of phonetically spelled, like if you look at it. Mm-hmm. But that's not Cajun because nothing in Cajun French sounds like it looks.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's a fact.
And then there are some that will say Couillon. And a lot of French words like bouillon and stuff like that are all spelled that way. So my thing is, it really doesn't matter how you spell it, because for the longest time we would say it. Nobody was asking you to spell anything. This didn't come into play until Facebook or TikTok was out there. And when I was doing Hey Couillon, I did not want to use the slang version of Couyon because, number one, I saw that everywhere. And I saw it on baseball shirts, like on other hats and stuff. I was like, okay, well, that's not my brand. I want to do it more of a proper fancy style, which is why I went with this version. So that's my answer. I don't care how you spell it. I don't even care how you pronounce it. Well, I can't say that. You still gotta be soft on the end. But it's couillon, bro. That's all.
Now that we're talking about it, I don't even think I saw the word couillon being spelled. I think within like the past 6 years. I don't think I ever like saw it spelled out. It was just couillon.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Who cares how it's spelled?
Yeah.
So I've had people try to like say stuff. I was like, whatever, bro. Because everybody knows everything online, you know. So whatever.
Erock, if you're cooking for a large crowd, what you cooking?
If I'm cooking for a large crowd, it could be a problem because believe it or not, and some people might, give me shit about this. I'm not the chef.
Come on.
I'm not. My wife and I got a couple of my real close buddies that are absolutely amazing chefs. So a lot of times when I'm doing cooking videos, it's not me cooking. A lot of times it's my wife. And my wife hates being on camera. So a lot of times it's her hands or, we're doing certain things like that. And that way we can share. To me, I get where some people would say, bro, you're not a chef. You don't want to. Well, that's just kind of silly. Do I have to be a chef to share this stuff? No. I'm sharing with you my wife. I got no business in the kitchen cooking when she cooks the way she does. Same thing with my best friend, Cory. We'll do a lot of stuff, even if it's not Cajun stuff. Like we're just doing something on the grill.
Yeah.
He's the one cooking because he's fantastic at it. So I'm the one that's good at videoing and talking and all that. I've got all the equipment. So just sit back and enjoy. Now, granted, I don't really get a lot of flack for it.
Yeah.
But of course, there's a couple of knuckleheads that'll come on there and talk shit. But just silly, man. Who cares who's actually cooking it? I'm just presenting you the information, bro. Settle down.
What's your favorite thing she cooks?
Oh, my wife. Man, so many things. So if I were to stick on the Cajun theme, she makes a fantastic gumbo and potato salad.
Come on.
I mean, it's hard to beat. Her and my buddy's wife, Chris, who actually taught my wife how to cook gumbo. That's my two favorite gumbos. And that's very subjective because what I like might not necessarily be the same that you like. And that's okay. But a lot of people get so upset when it comes to gumbo, jambalaya, like lots of different cooking, like different foods, Cajun culture especially, because if it's not done their way, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
And if you think about just the roux, everybody cooks the roux about the same, but I may do it. I don't like mine dark. I like more of a darker peanut buttery kind of color in the roux versus some people just like that shit to be dark, like dark chocolate or coffee even. And to me, it has a little bit of a burnt taste. And again, if you cook it that way, I'm never saying anything bad about it. I'm going to eat your gumbo because it's still fantastic. Yeah. But if I'm doing it or if my wife is doing it and she feels the same way, that's the way that she likes it. So get out of my comments with me doing the roux wrong. That's not true. It's not wrong. It's not wrong compared to us. So yes, gumbo and potato salad, absolutely fantastic. So that would be my choice for her.
Okay. So HeyEROck, I got another topic that I wanted to cover.
Okay.
I listened to your podcast, Tricky Ricky.
Oh, my buddy Ricky, yeah.
And y'all were talking about craft beer.
Yes, definitely.
What is your favorite craft beer? If you had to just choose one.
So, yeah, that's a tough one. Right now, definitely Juicifer from Gnarly Barley. It's just fantastic. It's a little 12-ounce can. It's one of their like flagship beers. Mm-hmm. And Gnarly Barley is right here in Hammond, so it's a local group. Whenever I just kind of, I know this is going to sound weird. I'm not a big beer drinker. Like I don't come home from work and just drink a couple beers or whatever.
Yeah.
I play a lot of golf. I don't necessarily drink beer when I'm on a golf course. But I like to drink IPAs. I like to like have a beer every once in a while. It's like I'll only drink that one can.
Yeah.
So Juicifer is really my go-to because it's easy. It's very bold. It's got a lot of flavors. And if anyone is in the IPA world, they'll understand that there's very different flavors or tastes or experiences with IPAs. So I'm fascinated with all that, which is why I love IPAs because it's not like a Miller Lite or a Bud Light. Mm-hmm. There's so many different hops and recipes and all these things that go into this process that the whole entire thing is fascinating to me. There's another, so I never used to be like this because it's a funny story. I'm going to tell this story. It's kind of funny. I used to hate IPAs.
I did too.
I had a couple of buddies of mine that drank it all the time. My best friend, Cory Lea, him and another guy named Aaron Phillips, which he wasn't always an IPA drinker himself. He has a similar story to me, but I'll just tell this little story. They would bring IPAs over every once in a while. I'd be just like, dude, I can't do it. Like, I don't know who puts this in their mouth and says that they want to drink this. There's just no way. But I appreciate the whole spectrum, like the whole experience of all of that. Like, I get it. It's craft. There's different things that go into it. And you can even compare that to bourbon drinkers, wine connoisseurs. Like, it's still along that realm, collectors. I'm fascinated with all that. So I wanted to like the IPAs. I really did, because I enjoyed the experience, but I hated the taste. So the issue was I had never found one that I liked, come to find out later. So through TikTok, I had some guys reach out to me from Spindle Tap Brewery in Houston, Texas. Okay. Well, it just so happened that my daughter was playing for this elite team. We had some trainings. It was part of the Houston Dynamo and Dash. So she was going to train with them. They got to go to the facility, all this whole thing. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, look, I'm going to be in Houston this week. What y'all got? So the guy was like, all right, I'm going to set you up. What day, what time? I want to introduce you to the owner, like the whole thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go over there. I meet the owner. I get a tour of the brewery. They treated me really, really well. So when it was time to like drink some beer, they're like, well, what do you want to try first? I was like, okay, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't like IPAs, but I want to. And like I said, I'm interested in the whole, like they showed me how the beers are brewed and bottled and all that. I love that stuff. It's so fascinating to me, but I have no idea where to start. The guy was like, I got you. Go sit on one of the picnic tables and I'm going to come bring some stuff out to you. So he brought out this like aluminum bin full of ice and I don't know, 10 different kinds of beers. So we started to pop some of them. They have one which is a Mexican lager from over there. It's called Calavera. It's probably the best Mexican beer you've ever drank, because I like Dos Equis, like along that realm. I like those drinks, but the Calavera from Spindle Tap, absolutely phenomenal. So I was like, oh, this is a great start, but it's not an IPA. So then he gives me one of their other flagship beers that they have a lot of. It's called Heavy Hands. It's an IPA. It's really juicy. It's kind of heavy. I think it's like 10% or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I pour it into my glass. I start sipping on it. And I was like, this one's not actually that bad. It's kind of like, it has that little bit of a IBU type of bite to it. International Bitter Units, in case anybody's wondering, like how bitter it is. But that's all IPAs. But it had like this smoothness to it.
It's like, easy to drink.
Yeah, I was like, man, I can drink this.
Yeah.
So I drank that, and I was like, man, this is really good. He's like, okay, well, if you like that, you're gonna like this one. So he gave me another one, and it's just kind of drawing a blank right now. I can't remember what it was, but it also was good. So then, One Love is what it was called. So a lot of times, what's really cool about some of these breweries is that they'll do these little limited runs. They'll make, let's just say, for example, One Love. And then they'll sell it at the brewery. They'll do a little bit of distribution. But when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. Then they move into the next one, and they may make, whatever it is. Let's just say Heavy Hands. And the same thing, they'll go through it, and then once it's gone, it's gone. Now, with Heavy Hands in particular, that's one of their more flagship ones, just like the Juicifer at Gnarly Barley. You can get those year round. That's like their flagship. That's what they make all the time. They send it in distribution. You can get that everywhere. But at the time, the One Love was like one of those, 16-ounce cans. It's a little taller, limited type runs. They have another one called Faded, which was a little bit more bitter, but still really, really good. So I was like, man, these are really good. Like, I can drink these.
Yeah.
So through that little experience, great conversations. Those guys were fantastic. Bro, they sent me home with damn near a pallet of beer. I'm talking...
Of those beers that you liked?
Yeah, he was like, try this one, take this one. You want this one? Try this one too. He sent me home. I'm telling you, if it wasn't $500 worth of beer, because you know how expensive craft beer is.
Yeah.
That dude sent me home, and I was an immediate fan. So I didn't know what to do with myself because I wasn't the big IPA guy at the time.
Yeah.
So you can go way back and listen to one of my podcasts. The first time I went to Stone Tap, when I got home, I got all my boys to come over to the house. And like, we're going to drink all these beers and we're going to go over it. So that's kind of how that whole IPA thing started in my podcast. Now, granted, it's not one of my higher view or higher listener count podcasts, because I'm sure a lot of people don't really want to listen to us just sitting there drinking a beer unless you're into beer.
Right.
But I don't do it to get paid. I do it for free. I do it for me, and it's more of like a therapeutic type thing.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite ones where we can sit there and drink beer. But Ricky, so I call him Tricky Ricky. He's a buddy of mine, Ricky Perkins. He's real big into that. Very knowledgeable. He goes to a lot of the breweries. He knows a lot of the brewmasters. He knows a lot of the people. So it's fun to do that with him because he travels sometimes with work. And whenever he's in certain places, he will purposely go to breweries and get different beers and then bring them over. And he'll say, hey, I got some beer for the podcast, bro.
Just like that?
Just like that. I was like, say less, son. When you want to come over? Friday? How's Friday?
Yeah.
We'll come Friday. And he will bring 30 different beers. And we'll just start drinking them and just get shit-faced hammered. We don't even realize, because some of them are so heavy.
Yep.
10%, 12%. And when you're just sitting there talking and having a good time, you don't realize that you're getting pretty buzzed up.
You get
and
6 of them?
When I turn that record button off and we all stand up to go back in the living room, Lord, there has been many a times where I'm like, hold on a second, because I don't drink that much. I don't drink to get drunk too often.
Right.
I just drink for the experience. So it's funny too, because just last night we went to Cory's house. He's got a swimming pool, a whole nice little setup. Ricky came over. And Ricky bought his little ice chest, and he had some beer from, I want to say like South Carolina, some that we've never had before.
Yeah.
And we all have, like, some of them are 12-ounce cans, some of them are 16-ounce cans, and we have these little kind of 8-ounce glasses. So there was 4 of us, so we'll pour it just equal shares. And to me, that's the best thing to do because I don't have to drink the whole can. I can just taste it, and we can share it, and we can talk about it. And it's like a whole experience. That's what I love about the IPAs. And we do the same thing sometimes with bourbons and stuff like that too, where the what's the word I'm looking for? But not casual, but like the personal experience with it with everyone is fun. But I know I'm going all over the place, but that's kind of my whole impression on IPAs. But when I'm by my house and I'm by myself and I just want to drink a really good IPA, Jucifer is just so easy to get.
That's that's my absolute favorite. I was the same exact way. I basically had to almost force myself to like a IPA.
I get it.
And I went similar to you. I'm like, I can't find one that's just easy, smooth to drink.
Yeah.
It took forever. And then the next thing I know, it's like, oh, okay, well, the best one that I've had right down the road in Hammond.
Yep.
And so my brother-in-law, he lives in Denver, Colorado. Y'all can check me on this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure there's like 68 breweries within like a 10-mile radius of the town.
Uh-huh.
But what's interesting to me is up there in a restaurant, they'll have their own like brewed beer for that restaurant, which is a little bit different than what we have here. Like,
you mean
actually
like
have a one beer that the restaurant brews up there in the restaurant.
Oh, very cool.
And we had to try all of those. Still couldn't find an IPA. Trying to find it. Sure enough, like I said, right down the road, little old Hammond. Have you been to Gnarly Barley before?
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great little vibe. I love how like breweries nowadays, they make it extremely family oriented. Which I have 2 young ones, and it's so nice to go over there and just.
Totally agree. And you know what's special, and I didn't realize, Louisiana has some heavy hitters in the craft brewery scene.
Yeah.
And even in this little region, like I'm fortunate enough to have tried IPAs from all across the country, thanks to Tricky Ricky, and Paul, another guy who owns a little Facebook page. He's very knowledgeable about that stuff too. But I've been very fortunate that they'll bring stuff over and we'll try stuff from all over the creation. And I'm not going to lie, while there's been some great ones, Louisiana is tough to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Gnarly Barley. You've got Port Orleans used to do some really good stuff, but it's kind of local. I like hanging out over there. The Holy Roller is another IPA that from the very beginning I kind of like from Urban South. They typically have some pretty good stuff. Can't talk about Parish enough out towards the Lafayette area in Broussard.
That's Ghost in the Machine, right?
Ghost in the Machine. Yep, they've got some fantastic beers out that way. Seventh Tap in North Louisiana.
I've never heard of that.
They've got some great stuff that I really like. I'm drawing a blank. I can see Grayson Grit, and I'm trying to remember what that brewery is, but the Grayson Grit was one of them that we liked. I'm going to think about it later on, so I apologize, but they're another brewery in Louisiana that does great.
Of course, Abita.
Oh yeah, you can't forget Abita. Now they're interesting too because it's almost like. Now I don't want to throw any shade at Abita by any means, but when you think about Abita, it's almost more on the Budweiser and Coors side, like the Miller. Like they're so big.
They're more of like a staple beer now, really.
Yeah,
more than a craft, even though they are still a craft.
Yeah, of course. And originally, I wasn't a big fan of any of the IPAs that they had put out. And I don't think that was really one of their focuses because they were doing a lot more. Like, I love their Abita Amber. That's really good. The Straw Gator, the strawberry is fantastic, especially if you're eating crawfish. Like, they just go together. But they've had a couple that are really good, some IPAs that came out. So, yeah, they definitely know what they're doing over there. But I think it's just, again, I don't want to throw any shade. It's just in my brain when I think about the craft brewery, I'm not including Abita because they're just on a completely different level. Yeah. So, but good for them. They do have a fantastic beer for sure.
Yeah, I think they were one of the earliest ones in Louisiana.
Yeah.
As far as craft beer
breweries.
So, great little topic.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I was able to get another guy that reached out to me. Lives around this area somewhere, I believe. I don't want to misspeak, but he's a big bourbon guy. Call him Big Country. Big Country. So his wife had reached out and said, yeah, maybe he can come on your podcast. So I'm like, okay. I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff. He came over. That's what I told him. I said, the only catch is you got to bring a bunch of stuff because we want to try it.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of an experience because I don't know anything about bourbon. Yeah. He brought over, I found out later on that he kind of spoiled us with some stuff that's hard to get, some real big name stuff that I had at the time no idea about, but
that's a whole nother experience there.
It
too.
is.
Like chasing the bourbons and going bourbon hunting.
Yeah.
Me and the wife were both big into it.
Oh, really?
After the podcast, I'll show you what I got up there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, so what is funny is the one that he brought that I liked the most, believe it or not, was Angel's Envy.
Come on.
Yep.
Was it a rye or
it was just
bourbon?
There's a regular bourbon.
Yeah.
Angel's Envy. It was easy to sip on. He had Blanton's, E.H. Taylor. Like he had a lot of these really big named bourbons.
Yeah, those are hard.
And I just couldn't do it.
Really?
I was like,
Have you done a blind tasting with some of the bourbons?
We have. So Cory's real big into that too.
Yeah.
And we've done bourbons. We've done tequilas, like all kinds of different stuff. We've even done a tequila tasting contest where we had a control of margarita. Like we made this big batch of margarita with no alcohol in it.
Okay.
And then we would pour the same exact amount in everybody's glass. And then we would put the exact amount of tequila in each one. So we had like a whole bunch of margaritas that we made.
How fun.
It was super fun. And that we had some really expensive like Patrons and Don Julios and all kinds of stuff. 1942.
Yeah.
Like we had all that fancy stuff. And we had a bottle of El Padrino.
I've never even heard of that.
I know. No one has. But here's what's funny. One of my other friends went to Total Wine, kind of told him what we were doing. We were like, what is the best for like margaritas? And he's like, wow, this El Padrino is great in margaritas and you can sip on it. You can get this big giant handle for like $50. He said, deal. So he brought that. When we did the test we did just taking sips like a shot kind of deal, but not really a shot, but just like tasting it. And we did it in the margaritas and unanimously El Padrino won both of them.
And these are people that have not really had this before.
Yeah. There were 4 of us that tasted all of it. Now we're not like, tequila experts. I'm
Yeah.
sure you'd get a guy that come here that knows something about tequila would be, but for just like a normal person, yeah, that was it.
I'm gonna have to get some of that because the wife has been on a margarita kick.
Yeah, El Padrino.
El Patrino.
Yeah.
And Total Wine. I bet most convenience stores around here would probably have it.
Maybe so.
I don't know if it's like hard to get either.
No idea.
No idea.
No idea. We just go to Total Wine and pick it up. So,
Hey, EROCK, I got another one for you.
all right, what's up now?
All right, so we're in Louisiana,
We are.
sportsman paradise.
It is.
It's fishing.
Yes, fishing. I like fishing. You like fishing?
I love it, man.
What kind of fishing we doing?
Marsh fishing for redfish. That is like heaven on earth for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically Grand Isle, and more recently, Delacroix. I might be mispronouncing that.
Nah, that's close enough. Delacroix. Yeah.
That's the right way to
Yeah.
say it. Yeah. So, and another buddy took me out to Homa, and I can't. It's a top secret. I can't tell you where it's at,
Right.
kind of thing. But we use nothing but spoons
Yep.
the entire time.
Like a gold spoon catching
That's
redfish.
silver and gold.
Yep.
The entire time, and wore them out for like 2 days straight, limited out on like 4 different boats.
Yeah, that's a great time. Redfish, speckled trout. Like I grew up freshwater fishing. My dad was a big bass fisherman.
Okay.
So like Bayou Gauche, des Allemands area, like I grew up in that water. That's all we did was we would fish the weekends, and if we weren't fishing, we were out there like hydro sliding, water skiing, doing all that fun stuff in the bayou. So it was always really fun. It wasn't until I got up until my teenage years where I would go with some of my buddies to Grand Isle, and we'd go catch, some big redfish, catch speckled trout, white trout, brown trout, like all those things on the, the rock jetties. And also I was learning about all the stuff. I said, man, this is way better than bass fishing. Bass fishing's slow, and you got to work the worm, and you got all this stuff. I'm out here with a double rig pulling in 2 specks at a time, and like
That's the best.
Oh my God, it was so much more fun. So then I became like, I just want to go saltwater fishing. Well, my dad wasn't into it, because like I said, he was just a bass guy. So I'd always have to go with friends. Well, nowadays it's kind of the same thing. I'm so busy with soccer and work and everything else that it's one of those where I just got to get invited to go. So if I ever get an invitation and I don't have some stuff going on, you best believe I'm getting in the boat. I'm jumping in the boat. So that is a kick in the pants, boy.
I do think bass fishing is a little bit harder than saltwater because I find the saltwater fish to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
Than a bass.
100%. Like
And
it's almost like you have to hunt the bass.
You do.
Whereas in saltwater, if you just find a spot where they like to pool up, I'm not granted, there are some times where you actually have to fish.
Yeah.
But you have a better chance of knocking them dead in saltwater than you do in freshwater.
Oh yeah. You find the tide right, the wind just right. Oh, especially you know where to go.
Yeah.
You can do some damage to some fish.
Yeah, but bass fishing, sockeye, perch jerking, like that's what I grew up on. That was like my bread and butter. And a lot of times whenever you'd go kind of like perch jerking, or you throw like a little cork or a little mini jig spinner and you're catching all the perch.
Yeah.
To me, that's the closest thing to freshwater that you can get to saltwater, except the fact that these things are a little tiny.
Versus a speck.
Yeah, exactly. But you can get on a school of them little perch and have a good old time. But
how I see it is, as long as you're not at work and you're fishing, it's a good day.
Oh yeah, it's a good day. Yeah, and then when I'm on the water, we like to have a couple of beers too. That's always a good time. But yeah, not the IPAs. I can't be drinking a whole shit pile of IPAs.
Well, yeah,
that's
too
heavy
hot.
stuff.
Too hot to be drinking.
Yeah, I'll be fine with like a little Yingling or Miller Lite, something like that. Would be good to go.
Yeah, I was talking about beer. If I'm out and about and it's like we're doing something during the day, definitely easy to drink beers. But here's one that specifically I drink at a certain time of the year.
Okay.
It's a porter in the morning.
In the morning.
Right before like a parade or something. That's
Okay.
the only time I'll drink like a heavy, like maybe like a Guinness or like, it has to be a beer that's like kind of made with like some coffee.
Okay, I get that.
Some
Yeah.
coffee beans.
Yeah.
It's the only time I'll drink that specifically.
Yeah, I'm
Do
not
you have any beer like that?
No,
that
I'm
you
not a
have?
big fan of those, but I totally understand the tying the experience with the alcohol. I think it certain things lend
Yeah.
itself to something else more readily available than other times. So same thing with wines.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at dinner or if you're having a nice little, I'd like to drink wine. I'm not a huge wine fan, but I enjoy the social part of that drinking. Especially with my wife. She's a big wine drinker. She's not really a beer drinker. Although every single time that we have IPAs, she wants to get in the mix and try them. And every single time she makes that same puckered face like, ugh, why do y'all drink that? So I'm like, well, why do you keep tasting it? And she's like, well, I got to try it. So she's like a glutton for punishment. But so.
Here's one for your wife to try, Bonanza. Have you heard of this one?
No.
Yeah, my aunt, she actually lives in Plano or Prosper, that little area north of Dallas. She got us on to Bonanza a few years back. It's like $19, $22 bottle, and my wife's like, I drink wine every now and then, but my wife's more of a wine connoisseur, and she knows better what's really good.
Gotcha.
And I'm over here like, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. Well, she says that bottle is like equivalent to like a $60 bottle. So Bonanza. Yeah.
Well, she's a Pinot Noir drinker.
Okay.
Which one is that? Do you know?
I have not the first clue.
Oh,
I know Pinot Noir, red wine, and what's the other one?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Pinot Grigio. There's
Savoie. Is that it?
I don't know. I'm not a big wine guy either, so but it is what it is. I know my wife likes Pinot Noir. That's about it. So
hey, you got it right then.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway,
I had a big.
I digress.
I had a big, I guess, revelation about 2 years ago. I started thinking to myself, what am I doing with my life? Am I just going through the motions? Am I trying to get better for my family? And do I have goals outside of just working a job? And I said, no, I don't. Well, what do I want to do? What do I do? What do I do a lot? Well, I listen to podcasts a lot. I enjoy that. I like the quote unquote simplicity of just talking to someone.
Yeah. The beauty of it. But you're finding out it's not so simple.
It's a lot more to it, but
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, if you can minimize it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like you told me, just have a conversation.
Yep.
Now it's got to be it's a skill that I'm obviously trying to develop, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's just a conversation.
Yep. Yeah. And look, sometimes it's okay. You shouldn't have to put extra pressure on yourself. It's okay to be a dad, to be a husband, to have a job, and not really have other things that you aspire to do. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can be that go-getter or have those aspirations and make them come to fruition, because obviously they're afraid of failure, or it's like, yeah, but if I do that, then what? What if I
regret it?
Yeah. So you have regret or you have failure, but failure is never a no. Failure is lessons.
Oh yeah.
So you just kind of just have to dive in. But even if if you're status quo and you're content, that's okay. You make the best of it, But if you do have those where it's like, oh, I do want to do something else. What can I do? You just got to do it, bro. You got to jump into the deep end, and just hopefully you come back up for air.
Well, I'm shredding right now, trying to juggle all this stuff. What I'm sure you know.
I know
video,
so well.
Content creation, recordings, being a dad, being a good husband, work. Yeah, it's busy.
And look, it can be a lot. I went through a phase in content creation where I was pretty overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. When Hurricane Ida came, it was the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life, but also the biggest blessing that has ever happened to me.
How many years ago was that?
That was in 2020. So
2020.
If you think about even worse, it was the COVID year.
Oh,
so yeah. COVID in the beginning, we had Ida at the end.
Y'all get smoked pretty good.
Yeah, we lost our house, and we were homeless.
The whole house?
Yep. The house was gone. It ripped off the back half of my roof and destroyed everything on the inside. It knocked all the ceilings down. Everything was soaked. It was tough. So When the insurance adjusters and all, they came in and they did the whole thing, it was easy because like, oh, well, we got to replace everything. Every wall, every floor, every ceiling has to be removed. We gutted the house down to its studs and totally rebuilt it. Well, long story short, we wound up being able to, we had a little extra money, so we did a lot of extra things that we had always wanted to do in the house. We raised the ceiling a little bit. We knocked some walls down. We did all the things. Insurance helped with a lot of that, but insurance doesn't really cover all of the customization type stuff. So, we had to come out of pocket a little bit. But it was the perfect time to do it because we were out of the house and we weren't living there. Yeah. And again, that just kind of solidifies my relationship with Cory. They took us in. They had an extra bedroom. His son was off in school, so he wasn't living with them at the time. So he let us stay in their room. So we lived with them for months after Ida. Another one of my good close friends, Lonnie, he's kind of the same thing. He had offered the same stuff. So we were back and forth between Lonnie and Cory. The three of us are really tight. So it was a big blessing. But
were y'all able to save any like personal things?
Oh man, no. Yeah, I don't want to get too emotional because it's always tough to talk about. But the hardest thing that I'd ever had to do, besides losing my house and everything else, number one was my daughter. She was living there with us, obviously. Right. For her, just not understanding like why us. Obviously, we were going through those same problems as well. Yeah. The worst thing about the whole entire exercise was putting stuff out to the road, where. Whew, still remember that shit like it was yesterday. But like sofas, TVs, where you have all of these memories. Mm-hmm. You build these memories with your family and you just got to throw it away. And I think that was like the hardest part was we had a pile in my front yard that was 6-7 foot tall, as long as my yard is, of beds, toys, sofas, televisions, computers, clothes, socks, like you name it. Yeah. And the parish wasn't coming picking everything up right away. So at the time I had started to go back to work, I was kind of like halfway. I was working from home and I was working at the site. And I would leave every day and I would see that pile. And I'd come home every day and I'd see that pile. And that was absolutely by far the hardest thing, like throwing away all those memories. I'll never forget when I came home one day and when I pulled in my neighborhood, I saw this, like, not a dump truck, but like remember those trash trucks? I know you had to have seen it. Big giant trash truck had a big old box on the back with like a crane and these big metal claws. Yep. I saw one in the neighborhood and I thought, holy shit, are they picking up trash? Finally. So I drove around the neighborhood and I shit you not, when I pulled up by my street, there was one of them at my house and he had picked up half my trash. So I sat out there with him and we literally sat in the yard, like happy tears of that thing finally taking that shit away. I was raking stuff up for him. I was like, hey, bro, you missed some here. So I'm raking it all up and getting him to come and pick everything up. And so I mean, it's obviously tough to talk about, but it was kind of like I know cleansing might sound like a weird word, but it was a restart, like a fresh start. Yeah. To where now we have a new home to start a new chapter.
New memories.
And new memories. And so it was interesting to say the least. So
I find Louisiana people, us as a state, we're so I can't speak, resilient. Yeah. With, I don't know how if you're not living in this, I guess, South states in general, that have to deal with hurricanes, like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And, that's one thing that I do love about Louisiana, because when we all go through hurricanes, we all go through the same thing. And that is definitely a time where race, political affiliation, background, all that stuff no longer matters to so many people. And it's a beautiful thing.
We're a community.
It's a community because everybody's in the same shit and everybody needs the same help. And people that are a little more fortunate tend to help. And that was one thing that was beautiful that we did. We had evacuated to Texas. We were staying with my wife's best friend who lived up there. And we knew the hurricane was coming right for our area. And we knew that there was a chance that, we could be in trouble, right? Well, I was doing like these video updates before Ida had got there and just kind of letting everybody know what was going on. And it was all from Texas. And when I did one of the videos, I went inside and my phone kind of like cha-chinged. I was like, what the hell is that? I look at my phone. Somebody sent me a Venmo. Like, why? I don't even know who this person is. Why would they send me a Venmo? Didn't think nothing of it. I was like, maybe there was an accident. Then a little while later, I get another one. Somebody sends me another one. And it has something about...
While y'all are in Texas?
Yeah, while we're in Texas. Something about helping with the hurricane. I thought, what the hell? Why would somebody do that? Like, I didn't ask for any of that. Sorry, I'm getting a little...
You gotta take your time.
Well, I go inside and I tell my wife, I'm like, I had a couple people that sent me these Venmos talking about helping us out for the hurricane. What if we do some kind of video and try to raise as much money as we can? That way, when we go back home, we can help our community.
Yeah.
She's like, that's a great idea. So I do a video. I put my Venmo and my PayPal. I was like, this is what we're going to do. My thought is, in a nutshell, I'm going to rent a U-Haul. I'm going to load it to the gills with everything that we're going to need for hurricanes, because we've been through a million of them. I know what everybody's going to need.
Yep.
And we're going to take it back to my community, and we're just going to donate to everybody. So if you want, you can either donate money through PayPal or Venmo, or one of the last days before I leave, we're going to have a meetup at Home Depot with my U-Haul trailer. And if you want to donate actual supplies, you'll meet me at this time. And I was like, more to come on that or whatever. Well, turned it off. I said, listen, let's go to Home Depot right now and go get some stuff that we know we're going to need. And I'm just going to pay for it myself, because I didn't have any money from everybody else. I have my own money. So we go over there, spend about $1,000 on all kinds of stuff. I mean, I bought chainsaws, all the things that I knew we were going to need, that you always need, tarps and stuff like that. As we're checking out, I'm getting a couple of cha-chings. I was like, man, I'm getting some Venmo payments in. So I just keep scanning everything, do all the payments, and cha-ching. It's like going bananas. So Nicole's like, well, I can hear that thing going off. How much money did you get? I pull up my Venmo, and I had $1,500.
Come on.
Now, I'd done the video 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that is freaking wild. So sure enough, cha-ching. It just kept going crazy. So I did another video just telling everybody, thank you so much. I can't believe this is actually working. That we may be able to even actually do something. So the next day, this thing's still cha-chinging like crazy. We have dinner and all this stuff. I said, we got to go back to Home Depot. We got to start buying some other things. So then I started buying, everything you could think of, roofing nails. I bought all the tarps I can find, hammers, gloves, rakes, shovels, everything. I'm talking, I was buying 4 and 5 and 6 of them at a time. I bought 15 gas cans, filling them up with gas, taking them, went and rented the U-Haul trailer, had everybody meet me at Home Depot. People came out of the woodwork. I literally had to turn people away because I had no more room in that U-Haul trailer. That's how crazy it was. So instead of other people saying, oh, well, it's too bad, they said, here's my information. Let me know when you settled in. I'm going to bring it to you.
Yep.
Now, we're in south of Houston, so it's a 6-hour ride. And those people came through. Needless to say, we raised over $32,000 from everybody being so generous to go and help my community. And that's not even including the things that, like the physical things that they donated. It must have been 100 or so people that have messaged me to bring me stuff. I had people bring me 55-gallon drums. I had people bring multiple chainsaws with like all the fuel for the chainsaws, everything you can think of. People offering their services. I had people come down, help me cutting down trees at my mom's house and different places in the neighborhood, hanging up tarps. People would come and help us hang up tarps. People I'd never met before. I had so much stuff that I couldn't handle it anymore, that I was actually getting United Way of St. Charles Parish to help with all that stuff. So I'd have the people meet me at the United Way of St. Charles. They'd dump off all their stuff, and then United Way would kind of situate it to where when they would have they'd collect everything throughout the week and then have people come like on a Friday, Saturday, something like that, to go and pick up the goods. So they were kind of that, intermediary to help me out, because I had all the other stuff that I had to do. I couldn't just keep meeting people and getting all this equipment. So shout out to United Way of St. Charles. They were fantastic.
How long of a time period was all this happening for you guys? A couple of months, huh?
Yeah, it happened. Well, this happened over just a couple of weeks between the time Ida hit and we were in Texas and the time that all the donations and everything were coming through. But then once we kind of got my house secured for the most part, then we started focusing on the community a little more, where we were, giving people tarps and hammers and nails and all those things. Then I realized there was a need for gas, generators, little window units, air conditioners. Mm-hmm. So I started reaching out to people in the community and say, do you know of people that maybe are a little less fortunate that need something? Because I know this might sound bad, but I didn't necessarily want to help people that can help themselves. I wanted to go to the other parts of my community where it's like, hey, maybe you can't really go buy a generator.
Yeah. I think that's totally understood.
I can't even tell you how many generators I bought. I mean, you think about, they're anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
Yep.
I was buying 5 and 6 and 7 of them at a time and I actually bought them from a local hardware store in my parish.
There you go.
So that way I kind of give that
community.
After I bought probably about 10 of them, the owner winds up coming up to me. He was like, bro, I got to ask, like, what are you doing? What's going on? Because like people don't just show up and buy 10 generators or, come over here and buy 3 generators and come back later on in the afternoon and buy 3 more. Like, what's going on? So I told him what I was doing, and he said, let me get on this. I was like, what do you mean you want to get on this? He says, take those generators right there. Just take them. Don't pay for them. Take those generators. He said, take those gas cans. They're yours.
You're a local guy.
Yeah, so he started donating stuff with me to help me out.
Hell yeah.
But I would go to Walmart, and I saw some people that had stuff in their basket, and I could see that they were material, like for, that you would have, whether it be food or, some like a sleeping bag and different things like that. And I'd say, hey, I got this. Let me pay for it. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, let me just pay for it. And when I did that a couple times, I thought, I need to like make this a thing. So I went talk to the Walmart people there, and I was like, hey, this is gonna sound weird, but this is what I'm doing. I've raised all this money. I want to give it back to the community. I want to come in and I just want to pay for everybody's stuff when they come to register. How can I do that? He's like, well, you can do like gift cards. And I was like, well, I don't want to do a gift card. I just want to pay for their stuff.
Yeah.
He said, well, I mean, I can let you in whenever we open early, and you can come and stand by the registers. Because I also told him I don't want to just give it to somebody that's just going to buy, a couple cases of beer and things that are not, So I got a whole bunch of my friends together, and we had
kind of like watched.
We manned like every register.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I gave cash. And then some of them, I would just like, whenever you're ready, and I would give them my credit card. That way it would kind of go through. And it was crazy where I'll never forget, this one woman comes up to, we were kind of over by customer service. She comes up to customer service. She has 2 inflatable air mattresses in her hands. And she just went over there to ask them, which one do they prefer? Like, because they're both kind of expensive and I don't really want to buy the right one. Well, we didn't hear that at first because it was kind of behind us. My buddy Zach was with me, and he was like, hold on, E, I got this. He went walk to the lady, and he says, which one's better? And the lady says, well, I think that one's better. It's a little more expensive. It's a nicer material. And he was like, all right, get that one. Do you need another one, or do you want both of them? And she was looking at him with the most confused face. And he was like, no, I'm buying it for you. Which one you want? Do you want the good one? Do you want another one? Or do you want both of them? And she's like, well, I can use two, but I just can't really. He was like, go get another one. I'm paying for it. And like, just to see those people's faces, they were so confused. Why are you doing this to me? You know, and it even, especially when you don't look like me.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that because we've got a couple of people that's like would say that, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And so again, this is just another thing of that those tough times just brings the community together.
Well, I've said this and I'll continue to say it. The South gets a bad rep. We are all in it together.
Yep.
And it does not matter race, religion, nothing.
Yep.
What part of town you in? Like, nothing. Like, an example is like go to an LSU football tailgate.
Yep.
That is a perfect example, and or hurricanes are a perfect example of you can literally see the community.
Yep.
All of us.
Because everybody's there for a bigger purpose.
Yep.
And they're not worried about all those other things.
No.
So maybe we can get back to that one day in this world. Who knows?
We need it. We do.
We definitely
really
need
do.
it.
We need that.
Yep.
Hey, Erock, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming out for your hour and a 20-minute drive.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me on, man. This was fun
I've enjoyed it
for multiple reasons. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and you know, maybe I needed to vent a little bit and kind of get some emotion out, and you know, maybe come over here and help you out since you're kind of just starting on your journey. So this has been fun, man. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Erock.
Yep, definitely.
Again, guys, this is Trulea Entertainment Podcast. You can email us at truleaentertainment.podcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Send her our love. Deuces.